Good morning, Washington! How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to Dave TV. I think I'll just take a nap. Good night. Got this in the mail yesterday. Pressbox DC. Who are they? Pressbox DC. Should I wear it? I guess I should. Well, I'll put it on. What the heck? Da-da-da-da. I could take my shirt off and then put this one on, but that would shock. That would shock people. So I'll just put this on top of this. Let's see how that looks. You know what? I like the shirt a lot. How's that look? How's that look? But, yeah. See, now, that's the problem when I wear darker colored shirts. It accentuates the gray in my beard. Doesn't it? Doesn't my beard look grayer? And this is a nice shirt. It's a very nice shirt. But I need to wash it. It's got that new t-shirt kind of stiff. Oh! It's got that new t-shirt kind of stiffness. I like my t-shirts kind of loose, I don't know, worn a bit. Worn. That's a good word. I like my t-shirts worn a bit. But anyhow, as you can see here, I've set up the, so someday soon, we're going to have some interviews. Okay? So right here, Paul Bicknell or Johnny Holiday or whoever will be sitting here, and I'll be sitting here, and we'll go, tell me about your career. So I'm setting up a little interview stage, so we'll see how things go. Steve Swenson, what the F are you doing with WJFK? Or Bill Hess, what the F are you doing with WMAL? Or Lori Cantillo, what the F are you doing with WTOP these days, huh? Jim Farley left you with a wonderful station in your... Okay, big news at WTOP. Before I get onto that, check out PressboxDC.com. Got a really good interview with Britt McHenry. Britt, the big news this week, Britt McHenry, we tipped you. DCR TV tipped you back in late February. We tipped you that Britt McHenry was probably going to be going to ESPN. We broke that news, and of course, it actually came true this past week. So Britt is going. Let me see. I can't get the lighting right in here. I'm doing the natural light. How's that? Any better? I don't know. I got to fiddle with this new studio facility. Is that better? I don't know. Anyhow, close your eyes and just listen to my wonderful voice. Britt McHenry is going to ESPN. However, you know what I need to do? See that? I got some cool stained glass doors back here. Maybe that should shut that. Let's see what happens. Yeah. I'm going to lock myself in here. I'm going to help! I'm stuck in my den! I can't get out! Help! Let's see how that looks. I don't know. So anyhow, Britt McHenry is going to ESPN, but she's not leaving Washington. Apparently, she's going to stay here in the nation's capital and do. If I block that, and basically, she told me that she's going to stay here in Washington. Let's try another word. She's going to stay here in Washington. That's better. No. She's going to stay here in Washington. She's going to stay here in Washington, and they have a bureau here, and then they're going to send her all over the country. She'll be going to National Dulles airports and flying all over the place and doing stories from all over the place, but she'll be based here in Washington, so she won't have to go up to awful Bristol, Connecticut, where it's cold and damp and all that, and see Lindsay Zarniak. But I have a really nice interview with her at PressboxDC.com. Check it out. You can get the link there on DCR TV. I've linked to it, so it's an interesting interview. I don't know, did anyone else interview her? I haven't seen anybody. But anyhow, so that's the interesting news. So Britt McHenry going to ESPN. She will, as of St. Patty's Day, Um, and Britt, nice chatting with Britt because she's often a big topic in the mailbag here on DCR TV. A lot of people like her or don't, and she said she actually credited DCR TV. She said DCR TV helped her become a better journalist because she's now less sensitive to all that criticism. When you get in front of the public, especially in a big market like DC, you're going to get criticism. And especially females, that the way you look, it's very, 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 very important to so many guys out there. I guess they're having some sort of sexual fantasies about you or something. I don't know. But anyhow, she said that when she got, she would read stuff in the DCR TV mailbag and it would be really tough. And she said she's kind of getting more acclimated to the criticism kind of thing and, not taking it so seriously and not so personally. And so she said that we actually helped her be a better journalist. So thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. Is that Brit short for Brittany? Probably, right? I don't know. Anyhow, I forgot to say, it's the 7th of March, 2014 here on DCR TV. .com. The other big news of this past few days was, Clear Channel getting rid of Boxer. Actually, they're not getting rid of Boxer. They're moving him from mornings to afternoon to middays. Midday is a shit. Let's just face it. Midday is a crap place. There are two important. They're like left and right breasts in radio. There's two important things in radio, and that's morning and afternoon drive. The rest of it doesn't really matter. If you're doing middays or evenings or weekends or late nights, you're on the station, but the big things that drive the station are morning and afternoon drives. And so moving Boxer to middays is kind of, really, you take somebody off of the big morning slot, moving them to middays is really a demotion, a huge demotion. It's almost like we don't want to kick you off the station just yet. We'll put you in middays. Everybody will forget you're there, and they will just pop you off one day. Sad. But what they're doing at Clear Channel's WMZQ Country is putting the Bobby Bones Show, piping it in from Nashville. Okay, and it's sad because it's just it's again, budget cutters up there. They're literally saying, let's get rid of the local shows. It's like what Mix 107.3 did, WRQX, getting rid of Jack Diamond and piping in Bert Weiss from Atlanta, and the ratings have dived, even though some of 107.3's ratings have come back, the mornings are still dragging way down there. And, and your listeners telling the people over there that, hey, we want a local morning show. We don't want a national morning show with local cut-ins. Now, you can do this in some cases. Howard Stern did that for many years and all that. But if for the most part, people want, most big markets. Now, a small market is something else. You have dink-watt little stations. But in a big market, you think, I really think MZQ is making a mistake here. I think they're going to see their ratings tumble. Somebody told me that they're very worried over there at Clear Channel because Cumulus could take 107.3, and there's been a lot of rumors that they may flip that to that Nash country format, giving DC 2 country stations. Again, it hasn't happened yet. It could still possibly happen. I don't know. But they're worried about that. And the one thing that Nash Country would do is pipe in a morning show out of Nashville. So if MZQ is kind of trying to beat them to the punch, or at least cover their bases in case something like that happens. So I don't know. We shall see. But I think it's sad that, Boxer's being demoted like that. It's I don't know. Laurel, Maryland. Audrey Barnes, longtime DC TV news reporter, most recently at Channel 5. She's also worked over there at Channels 9 and 4, is going to become the director of the Department of Communications for that gigantic, beautiful, big city of Laurel, Maryland. I don't know. Probably about as big as Herndon. Oh, congratulations to, I guess that's something to cheer about. I don't know. Going from a major reporter to the director of Department of Communications at Laurel, Maryland. If it was D.C. or Prince George's County Director of Communications or a big county, that might be something, but Laurel, Maryland. Well, anyhow, I'm sure that she's happy about that. Other interesting news. Pat Garrett, you listen to that. You listen. Radio stations have voices. They have the announcer type things. They're, when you hear you're listening to WTOP, blah, 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 when, at the top of the hour, those kind of pre-programmed voices. Those are usually very famous voiceover people. And for 17 years on WTOP, Pat Garrett has been that voice. He's a radio voice guy that's all over the country. You hear it heard on stations all over the place. And apparently he will be leaving WTOP and crossing the street, as they say, although it's probably more like 10 miles away, 15 miles away, to go from D.C. at WTOP to Lanham, Maryland at WJFK. And he'll be the voice of WJFK beginning April 1st. So he's changing there. That's interesting news. Pat is also the voice of a number of other CBS radio, sports radio stations, including WJZ 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. So I guess it's just going to mean that 106.7 The Fan here in DC is going to sound a little more like 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. The difference between the two stations is, of course, 105.7 The Fan gets much better ratings, generally speaking, in Baltimore than 106.7 does. Oh, I got to make a mistake here. Made a mistake here on the website. I called it 106 The Fan. 106.7 The Fan. Excuse me. But, so that's the big news there. What else? Somebody else wanted me to talk about. Oh, yeah, WNEW. More talk about WNEW and their... basically they've kind of lopped off Northern Virginia and added Baltimore. That's kind of what they're doing. So now their coverage area is kind of D.C. and then Maryland. D.C. and Maryland up into Baltimore. That's kind of what their core coverage area is. Forget Northern Virginia. I don't know. I've always said that, even though D.C. is technically and culturally the center of the Washington market, population-wise, Fairfax County in Virginia is. It's got twice the population of D.C., and I think you ignore them at your peril. And I think part of the problem that WNEW has faced all these 2 years they've been in existence is they haven't been able to give Fairfax County a decent signal. It's okay. You can hear it, but it's not a great, strong signal. And that's the reason why they haven't been able to get above 20th place in the D.C. radio ratings all these 2 years. That's the main reason. Add to that website problems, add to that marketing problems. But anyhow, so whatever. So I think this is a gamble. As I've said, and I said I can understand the reason for doing it. Tailor your programming to your signal. Your signal covers a chunk of the Washington market and then all of the Baltimore market. So why don't you become that all news station? And to that effect, that makes sense. But it's again saying, hey, TOP, you're doing something better than we are. You're covering Northern Virginia with all those people, and we're kind of saying, I think they still will cover it, but you're not going to see as much emphasis on it. You're hearing a lot more Baltimore stuff on WNEW these days. I don't know. I think that will boost their numbers in Baltimore and probably end up hurting their numbers in Washington, or at least keeping them steady. I think you'll see WNEW continue to remain way below 20th place in the Washington market, and maybe they will pop up to 12th or 10th place in Baltimore and maybe even tie or beat WBAL, which can't be good news for them. So anyhow, whatever. Anyhow, so I told you the other day, Dono gave us a very nice new computer here. It's really cool. You can see it back there. It's camo, kind of military style and all that. And so I transferred all the huge DCR-TV archives over to it. So of digital archives. So we got all the cool pictures here. So look at that. Lots of cool stuff here. So one of these days we'll just take some more time and go through some of these, all these really cool, there's a lot of them already up now on DCR TV Plus, but a lot of cool stuff here on the archives that just go on and 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 on. So help support DCR TV. Send us $29 or more and get a year's worth of access to DCR TV Plus. Thanks for watching Dave TV for the 7th of March. Book 'em, Dano.